First, we're going to start with the Clean and Clear Dual Action Moisturizer and just put that all over the face to moisturize my skin. Then we're going to start with the Clean and Clear Acne Spot Treatment and just put that on the acne marks. And it just makes the redness go away. And also just treats the bumps quicker. Then we're going to do this oil by Tarte, and this helps with evening skin tone as well as dry skin. So I just put those on my dry patches, especially my eczema. And that's some Lubriderm, and I just put that on my dry patches as well, because my eczema has been flaring up really bad since this season changed. So I have to keep my skin extra hydrated. So I'm just going to take my e.l.f. Eyebrow Duo Brush and just use that end to brush my eyebrows in the direction that I want them to go. Then I'm going to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony and just fill in my brows. And this is very important not to be heavy-handed when you use this. My brow tutorial will be coming soon, so just stay tuned for that, as well as J-Mix. And after filling those brows in, girls, just go ahead and brush them out. And now I'm just going to take my Fit Me concealer in the shade Cafe 30 and just conceal those brows so you can clean them up and also remove some of the dark spots. And this concealer is really easy to find. You can find it in any drugstore or retail store location, and it's really cheap. It's usually about $6. I get mine from Target. Sometimes I get it from CVS. It just depends. But it is a little more expensive at CVS than it is at Target. And what I'm doing now is just bringing it all the way down, even to my eyelid, because I do have dark spots on my eyelid. So I'm just concealing those spots and making sure when I put on my foundation that it covers up really good. So I noticed a lot of MUAs do not like to conceal the top of their brows, but I just like to do it so I can make sure I get a really clean look from it. And I also don't want my brows to look untamed. So that's the reason I conceal the top of my brows. I mean, to each his own, but it just makes it much cleaner for me. Now I'm going to go into my NYX Studio Perfect Photo Loving Primer and just apply this all over the face. And that's just for a smoother foundation. Now I'm going to go and use my Becca Ultimate Coverage Complexion foundation in the shade Mink. It was previously called Mink, now it's in the shade Espresso. And we're just going to use our foundation brush and just apply this all over the skin. This time I only use one pump because this is an everyday look. Again, that one pump is more than enough. And when you're doing an everyday look, make sure you get those eyelids as well. You just need to make sure you put foundation basically everywhere, all over your face as well as on that neck area. And a lot of people don't like to do the foundation at the top of their head, but you need to. Now I'm going to go into my LA Girl Pro Concealer. This is in the color Toffee. And we're going to use this wet beauty blender. Make sure you just keep it to the side with enough water in it so that it's still damp when it's ready to use. And we're just going to blend that out. And now you're just going to put it under the eye area. You don't have to use a lot. I also like to put it on the nose so that when it's time to conceal the nose, it makes it much more easier to make it more defined. And we're just going to blend that out as well. Please make sure your beauty blender is damp. Make sure it's really, really damp, but not damp enough to where it's still water basically on your face, because that will mess up your makeup. Now we're going to start concealing the nose and go up into the forehead as well. And we're just going to take my NYX palette, the cream highlight and contour palette, and use the darkest shade that's available. And this palette is the deep palette, which means it's for darker skin. Alright, Jules, yes, it is time to use my Real Techniques brush. I know y'all were wondering where is it, but this is the Expert Face Brush, and you're just going to use this to buff out all of that concealing we have been doing to make sure you don't have any flashback when you get ready to take those pictures, okay? Alright, Jules, we're just going to go into this e.l.f. contouring brush and also bring back out that NYX palette and use the darkest shade. And we're going to just apply this throughout the face, basically on the jawbone, on the forehead, as well as under those cheekbones, so that we can make sure that we contour everything. Alright, and this is just the e.l.f. 10-4 brush, and we're just using that just to brush that contour into the skin, just to blend it out. And this is a really, really good brush for contouring. It's a little on the expensive side if you're not, used to investing in your brushes, but I would definitely suggest buying this if you want to get more into contouring and just have an easier transition into doing it. And speaking of Real Techniques, we're just going to bring back out that Expert Face Brush. Yes, we are. Again, and we're just going to buff out all of that contouring again, just to make sure everything is blended well. Now we're just going to take a big fluffy e.l.f. brush, and we're going to dip it in this translucent powder. This is the shade Medium Deep by Laura Mercier. And we're just going to apply that all over the face. Just brush it on. I don't like to let this color sit, as I said in my last video, because it kind of makes my skin a little orange. It may not work like that for everybody, but I know it makes my skin just a little orange, so I don't like to let it sit in. This is just how I set my makeup, just by brushing it on everywhere throughout the face. Alright, and we're going to take my Black Excellence pressed powder in the shade Rich Mahogany and go back with that e.l.f. 10-4 brush, and we're just going to brush that contour in. Just set that in with that pressed powder. Just going to go into my Shea Moisture bronzer and use it in the shade Dusk, and just apply it everywhere I contoured on my face. Now we're going to just use this Starlux Pro Luxe pen. This is the Artist Edition. It is in the shade Black, and this is eyeliner. And we're just going to apply that to the lid. And it's super easy to use, and it glides on really, really good. Now I'm just going to use my Makeup Forever Professional Paris Adhesive Lash Mascara, and we're going to apply this on the lashes. And this should be done before you do any actual false lashes on the eyes. Now I'm just going to take my Lash Grip Eyelash Adhesive by Ardell, and also my lashes, which are in the style Double Up Whipsies by Ardell as well. And we're just going to put this on the eyelash line. And remember, it's just best to use tweezers so you can get as close to the lash line as possible. Don't get too close or use too much glue to where it takes out your lashes. That's not what you want. With these lashes, I'm able to take them off that same day. You don't have to keep them on for a week. I'm just going back into the Makeup Forever mascara, and we're just applying this to the bottom lashes just to make them more full. Now I'm using my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. I know y'all saw me use this in my last video. If you've watched it, this is the best eyeliner I have used in a very, very long time. Now we're just going to use this Wet n Wild pencil as the lip liner. This is the shade 62A, Pretty and Mink. That's what it's called. We're just going to use that as a lip liner. Now we're going to go into this NYX Lingerie collection. This is in the shade Bustier. And we're just going to apply that to the middle of the lips. Then I'm going to go into the NYX Butter Gloss, and this is in the shade Madeline, and we're just going to put that all over the lips. Just mix those two colors together, basically. Since this is an everyday look, we're just going to do the nude lip. Now we're going to use the NYX Matte Finishing Spray and spray that all over the face to set the makeup. Our Brow Duo brush, just to brush out the brows to give it a more natural look. And now for the finished look, jewels.